Okay, let's start. Please write down a formula. Basic EPS. EPS would be earning per share is equal to. The numerator is profit available for equity shareholders. Okay, the numerator of this formula, profit available for equity shareholders. The denominator is weighted average number of common shares outstanding, weighted average number of common shares outstanding during the year. Weighted average number of common shares outstanding during the year. Okay. Every single word in this formula has a very important meaning, and we will understand that with a series of examples. Okay. So let's start with example number 1. Let's say a company has profit after tax of 2 million. It has got number of common shares. Common shares means simply the equity shares. So number of common shares 100,000. Number of preferred stock or number of preference shares 100,000. Face value of this preferred stock is 100, no, not 100, 10, and preference dividend rate is 10%. Preference dividend rate of 10%. We have to calculate earning per share for the company. Okay. Now please tell me, if you are the accountant of this company or you are the CFA of the company and you have a profit after tax of $2 million or 2 million rupees, if you decide to, can you pay entire $2 million as dividend to equity shareholders? No, we cannot. Why? Because first we have to pay preference dividend. So the profit available for equity shareholder is not entire 2 million. It is 2 million minus the preference dividend. Okay, so how do we calculate EPS? And that's what the numerator really meant. 2 million here minus the preference dividend, which is 100,000 into 10, which is a million, into 10%, which is again 100,000. So minus 100,000 divided by number of common shares 100,000, which would give us 19 as your basic EPS. Have you understood the meaning of numerator? Profit available to equity shareholder, which means profit after tax minus the preference dividend. Any questions here? No? Yes?
Is it the same as EAES?
EAES is what?
Earning available for equity shareholders.
Yes, profit available for equity shareholders, earning available for equity shareholders.
Net income is also same.
Net income is same as PAT. Okay. Now let's do some work on denominator. Example number 2. Let's say profit after tax is 7.5 million. Number of common shares. So I'm making a schedule here. On 1st of January were 100,000. That means at the beginning of the year we had 100,000 outstanding shares. However, we decided to issue new ones. So on 1st of April we issued another 400,000 new shares. On 1st of July we issued another 600,000 new shares. On 1st of October we bought back 300,000 new shares. not 300,000, hold on a minute, 400,000. We bought back 400,000 shares. Bought back means repurchased. Now we have to calculate the EPS for this company. Numerator is straightforward, it is 7.5 million. Numerator of EPS formula, it is 7.5 million. What would be the denominator of earning per share? Okay, so now read your formula carefully. Weighted average number of common shares outstanding during the year. At the end of the year, we can calculate easily. 1 plus 4, 5 plus 6, 11 minus 4, we have 7. But this is not your denominator, because we did not have 7 outstanding for the entire year. That's why the last part of the denominator, weighted average number of common shares outstanding, the last 3 words, during the year. Okay, so how do we deal with this? This first 100,000, can I say these were outstanding for the entire year? Yes. Now don't write anything. There are 2 ways in which you can solve for this question. The one which is not recommended. Okay, but I'll solve for you to tell you what not to do on the exam. This 1000 was outstanding for the entire year, so into 12 divided by 12. This 400,000, is this outstanding for entire year? No, it is outstanding for 9 months. Now what I am going to say is, the shares which were purchased on 1st of October, I am going to assume that those were the shares which were issued on 1st of April. On 1st of October we have bought back 400,000. So an assumption that these 400,000 are actually the ones which were issued in 1st of April. So issued on 1st of April, bought back on 1st of October, that's how many months? 6. So into 6 divided by 12. Okay. Then 1st of July, these are outstanding for again? Sorry, yes, by mistake. This should be 9 by 12. From April to October. 1st of July, this is outstanding for a period of 6 months. So let us now calculate a weighted average. Okay, and don't write anything because this is a correct method but not easy method on the exam. So now this becomes 1, this becomes 2, this becomes 3. A weighted average turns out to be 6. Now the problem in this method is, what if the shares issued on 1st of April were not 4, they were 5? Okay. In that case, assuming a scenario that this was not 4, this was 5, in that case those 5 we would have broken down into 2 parts. 4 out of them bought back in 6 months and 1 which is remaining outstanding for 9 months. And that's where there's a possibility of calculation going wrong. Okay. So now what is a better method of dealing with this? The recommended method is, okay, again please observe, you can always write it down later on. 1st of Jan, outstanding for 12 months. 1st of April, outstanding for 9 months. 1st of July, outstanding for 6 months. 1st of October, not outstanding for 3 months. But of course a minus. So now what happens? This is 1. This would be 9 into 3 by 4, which would be 3. 6 into 6 by 12, this would be 3. And 4 into 1 by 4, this would be minus 1. And now a total which will again give you 6. And this is a easier way to deal with this on the exam. Okay. Multiply with number of months for which it was outstanding. And when you buy back, number of months for which it was not outstanding. So now what is your basic EPS? 75 divided by 6, which is 12.5. Any questions? Should I repeat again? Maybe you write down, we'll do one more example. Okay, so the method which is available in your book is this method, but please do not use this. Do it the way we are learning in the class. You'll find it much more easier. Done writing? Done now? Okay, fast. I think we are on inverters. Turn it off again. Are we done? Okay. Example 3, one more of similar type. Let's say profit after tax 3 million. On 1st of January, we have 200,000 outstanding shares. On 1st of April, we've issued another 200,000. On 1st of July, we are going to buy back 300,000. On 1st of December, we are going to issue 1.2 million. There's 10 extra here. 1.2 million. Calculate basic EPS. 12 lakhs. 1.2 million. Fresh shares. 12 lakhs, 1.2 million. Mayuresh. How much? 10. Okay. So how do you deal with this? This is 12 into 12. This is 9 into 12. Not outstanding 6 into 12. 1 by 12. This is 2. This is no 1.5. This would be minus 1.5, and this would be 1. So which gives us 3. So 3 million divided by 300,000, that would give us a basic EPS of 10. Easy? Should I repeat again? Should we increase one level? Now example 4 with 2 stars. Give heading stock splits and bonus shares. Give heading stock splits and bonus shares. And write down a sentence. Write down a sentence. In case of stock splits, or bonus shares, assume in case of stock splits or bonus shares, assume that it happened at the beginning of the year, or earliest possible time. assume that it happened at the beginning of the year or earliest possible time. Okay. Now it wouldn't make a lot of sense as of now, but just hang on for an example. Example 4 now. Let's say profit after tax is 6 million. On 1st of Jan, we have 100,000 shares. On 1st of April, we've issued 400,000 shares. On 1st of July, we decided to give a bonus of 80%. A bonus share of 80%. This bonus is also called stock dividend. A stock dividend of 80%. On 1st of October, we issue another 400,000 shares. On 1st of December, we buy back 600,000 shares. Now we have to calculate the denominator of basic EPS. Okay. So now step number 1 on the exam is to not panic when you see this. Okay. It might feel as if it's very complicated, but it's one of the easiest questions you'll solve for level 1. Okay. So the starting point is to do it as if there is no bonus. Completely ignore. So this is 12 by 12. This would be 9 by 12. This would be 3 by 12 and this would be 1 by 12. This is your step number 1. Now in step number 2, you come up with a bonus factor. So for every 1 share, we have given 80% free, which means 1 share must have become 1.8 shares. Following this? So everything that happens before bonus, adjust that with the bonus factor of 1.8. So into 1.8, nothing happens below that, and then you have your weighted average numbers ready. Okay, so tell me how much is this? This is 1.8. This would be 5.4. This would be 1 and this would be minus 0.5. And then we are left with 8.1. So this divided by 810,000, which is 7.4. Sorry? Which one? This one? Here you don't do anything to bonus because bonus happened before that. So simply 4 into 3 by 12, 1. Minus 6 into 1 by 12, minus 0.5. Which one? Bonus. See, if I had 100 shares, how many shares will I be given free? 80 shares. So 100 shares is going to become 180. Therefore a multiplication factor of 1.8. Okay. Had there been a stock split, okay, please understand this is an important point. Instead of bonus, there was a stock split. One stock was split into 10 parts. Then multiplication factor would have been 10 because one share is becoming 10. Had there been a bonus issue of 30%, then multiplication factor would have been 1.3. At times they trick it on the exam. They will say 3 shares would be given as bonus for every 2 shares. 3 shares will be given bonus for every 2 shares. Now the multiplication factor would have been 5 by 2. See, it's like this. If 3 shares are given for every 2 shares, then a block of 2 shares is going to become 5. If I had 2 shares, I'm going to have 5. Following this? So multiplication factor now is divided by 2 multiplied by 5. Should I repeat again? If I have 2 shares and if company gives you bonus of 3, it will become how much? 5. So can I say 2 into 5 by 2 will make it 5? Yes, so that's how we get the multiplication factors. If there is a stock split 1:2, then multiplication factor is 2. Because one share is becoming 2. See, the result is we have to find out how many shares we have converted into. If there is one share given for every one share, now multiplication factor is 2. Because one share is becoming 2. If there is a 30% bonus, ho gaya. If there is a 50% bonus, multiplication is 1.5. If there is 1:12 stock split, then multiplication factor is 12. If 4 shares are given free for every block of 3 shares, then 7/3. Is that clear? Okay, let's try one more. And the last example for basic EPS. So example 5 now. Let's say profit of 3 million again. On 1st of Jan, we have 50,000 shares. On 1st of April, we have 240,000 shares. Issue of new shares. On 1st of October, we have 4 shares bonus for every 3 shares. And on 1st of December, we have a repurchase of 300,000. Calculate the denominator, weighted average number of common shares outstanding. The last one is 300,000, 50,000, 240 and 300,000, 3 lakhs.
This is 3 lakhs.
3 lakhs, yes. So how do you deal with this? I'm solving it now. First, you assume that there is no bonus. So into 12 divided by 12, into 9 divided by 12, into 1 divided by 12. Then assume a multiplication factor 7/3, because every block of 3 shares now will get converted into 7 shares. So into 7/3 into 7/3, everything that happens before the bonus, and then we are through. And then simply multiply and find out a total.
EPS is 17.77.
How much is the total weighted average shares?
168.8.
1,68,800. Can you please turn off the AC? Oh, I thought it was an inverter. Yeah, we can turn it on. Done? Are you getting the same number? I'll show you how to calculate. Let's do it together. 50,000 into 7/3, 50,000 into 7 divided by 3, STO1. 2,40,000 into 9/12 into 7/3. 2,40,000 into 9/12 into 7/3 equal to STO2. 300,000 negative, which means 3 lakhs negative, into nothing. So into 1 divided by 12 equal to STO3, and then RCL 1 plus 2 plus 3. How much? 168,800. Is it? You're getting something else? How much? Point 5.0, 5 lakh 10,000 Come on. Let's do it together and do it exactly as I ask you to do. This shouldn't happen. We're level 1 candidates, isn't it? All of us have passed 10 standard. 50,000 on your screen into 7 divided by 3 equal to how much? STO1. Can you press STO1? Yes. 2,40,000 into 9 divided by 12 into 7 divided by 3 equal to 4. Okay. STO2. 3 lakh and then plus minus sign to make it negative divided by 12 minus 25,000. STO3. RCL1 plus RCL2 plus RCL3 is how much? 5 lakh 11,666. So that EPS would come out to be 5.286. Are we okay? Any questions, any doubts?